Everyone wants to know, right, what happened, why did we even go to prison in the first place?
There you have him, bro. There you have him.
Dubai, the city of ambition. A skyline of glass and steel carved out of desert sands. A place where wealth feels infinite, where supercars hum through neon nights, and where every day can look like a movie if you're young, rich, and reckless enough. For Samuel and Ruben Onuha, two brothers who came from nothing and built an empire out of pixels and products, Dubai was more than a city. It was the symbol of what was possible. It was proof that their hustle, a drop-shipping grind started in their teenage bedrooms, had transformed them into multimillionaires before most people even figured out what career they wanted. But dreams have shadows. And in a city like Dubai, shadows move quickly. For months, the internet buzzed with whispers, headlines, speculation. 100 kilos of cocaine, life in prison, international trafficking. The story was too wild not to spread. The e-com king taken down by a drug empire. The brothers who flew too close to the sun. But what if that story wasn't true? What if the reality was less glamorous, less cinematic, but far more human? Because the truth wasn't trafficking, it wasn't cartels, and it was for sure not some billion-dollar operation gone wrong. The truth was a private party, a reckless night, and a handful of personal use drugs that spiraled into a storm. Icon Amsterdam, their brand, their empire, kept running ads, kept delivering packages, but gave no explanation. And in that silence, people filled the gaps with their own theories. Some said the brothers were finished. Some said they'd cut a deal with cartels. Some even said they were gone forever. But behind closed doors, reality looked nothing like the myth. There was no trafficking empire. There were no 100 kilos. What there was a party, a night of recklessness, and one person who talked. When the police showed up, chaos filled the room. And in that chaos, a choice was made. Samuel stepped forward. He took the weight. He let the blame land on him so his younger brother Ruben could walk free. It wasn't weakness, it was loyalty. A move that cost him his freedom, but protected his blood. And that loyalty changed everything. Prison in Dubai isn't the kind of punishment you scroll past on social media. It's real. Concrete walls, locked doors, and endless waiting. Days that blur into weeks, weeks that blur into months. For Samuel, time slowed down. Every moment became a mental war. The uncertainty of not knowing when or if he'd walk free. The weight of wondering if his sacrifice had been worth it. But for Ruben, the outside wasn't freedom. It was responsibility. While his brother sat in silence, Ruben carried the empire. Icon Amsterdam couldn't stop. Orders had to be shipped. Ads had to run. Customers had to believe everything was normal. And so, behind every new campaign, every sale, and every launch, there was a young man carrying not just the business, but the reputation of his family. For outsiders, it looked easy. The brand didn't collapse. The revenue didn't fall apart. But inside, every day was survival. It was damage control, making sure that by the time Samuel came back, there was still an empire to return to. And then, after months of silence, it happened. One post. Within minutes, tens of thousands of likes. The internet went wild. The truth was finally clear. This wasn't about trafficking or about international crime. It was about a young man, a reckless mistake, and the loyalty of two brothers who refused to fold. And yet, the return wasn't just about proving innocence, it was about proving resilience. Because the real story wasn't the fall, it was what came after. Prison changes you. It strips away distractions and forces you to confront yourself. Samuel Onuha came back different, not broken, not bitter, but sharper. More focused. The nights of excess, the parties, the bottles, and the endless cycle of flexing were gone. In their place came early mornings, relentless gym sessions, pages of journaling, and long strategy talks about where to take the business next. Ruben had changed too. Carrying the weight of silence while his brother was locked away had hardened him. Running a multi-million-dollar empire from the outside, knowing Samuel was on the inside, wasn't glamorous. It was pressure, constant, suffocating pressure. But he endured it, and in the process discovered what resilience really looks like. Together, the brothers walked out of prison with something no headline could ever capture: perspective. They had seen how quickly the world could turn on them, how easily truth could be buried under rumors. And instead of letting that crush them, they chose to use it as fuel. Their empire before prison was impressive, but compared to what they're building now, it may end up looking like nothing more than the starting line. While the rumors swirled and the speculation never stopped, the numbers told a very different story. Icon Amsterdam didn't collapse, it kept climbing. By the end of 2024, the brand had passed 30 million in revenue. And in 2025, the brothers say the growth will be even bigger. From collaborations with top designers, to private dinners with Gucci's Dubai manager, to expansion across Europe, the United States and beyond, the empire is real. The numbers don't lie, but for Samuel and Ruben, Icon has become more than a brand. It's more than clothing, it's a symbol of resilience, of legacy. Because when you've walked through fire, what you build afterward carries a different weight. It isn't just business anymore. Two brothers, stripped of everything, tested by whispers, headlines, and handcuffs, and still they rose. That's the lesson. In business, in life, you will fall. You'll make mistakes, you'll face storms you never saw coming, but you only lose if you stop building. Samuel was just 21 when he became a millionaire. Ruben was even younger. They tasted success early, the kind that most people spend a lifetime chasing. But it was prison, not profit, that gave them their greatest education. Because the truth is this: money comes and goes, reputations bend, headlines fade. What remains is resilience, the quiet strength to adapt, to survive, and to keep building even when the world counts you out. That's the real wealth. And now, armed with scars and perspective, the Onuha brothers are stepping into a new chapter. One where the old empire may one day look small compared to what's coming. Because when you've been through fire, what you build after is unshakable. Now, with both brothers free, the full team is back together. Battle-tested, scarred, but still standing. They're no longer chasing validation. They're no longer chasing headlines. They're chasing something far bigger: legacy. From a dropshipping hustle in 2018 to pulling in $3 million a month by 2025, the Onuha story isn't just a tale of rise and fall. It's proof of what's possible, even after the darkest detours. And while some will keep doubting, the truth is out. It wasn't 100 kilos. It wasn't trafficking. It was youth, mistakes, loyalty, and survival. And survival has now become their greatest strategy. The story of Samuel and Ruben Onuha is proof of how fragile truth can be. From the outside, it's easy to believe the headlines, to assume there must be fire where there's smoke. But what really happened shows something else entirely: that what we think we know can be worlds apart from reality. For months, the brothers were painted as criminals, masterminds, even symbols of corruption. Yet the truth was far less sensational. And now, on the other side, comes the real question: what's next? Because survival changes a man. The hunger they carried into prison has only grown sharper. The empire they built before, the cars, the fashion, and the millions in sales, might soon look small compared to what's coming. If the Onuha brothers can take this experience, the humiliation and the pain, and turn it into fuel, then their old empire will look like a mere rehearsal. Their real story, their real rise, might only be beginning.
I know you're not following what I'm saying anyway, right? That's okay, that doesn't matter. The real question is this: is all this legal? Absolutely fucking not.
you know, what really happened? No, we didn't have unpaid escorts. No, there was not, at the moment of the arrest, a massive party going on. No, none of that shit was true. We got arrested just on a Monday. I was working and ended in an unlucky situation by trusting some of the wrong people, you know. And that's one learning lesson for me, for us. Watch out who comes close to you, you know. And that's why we ended up in a bit of a tough situation. I got charged with using, so a drug charge, but it was just a using charge, a charge that I would have never been even arrested for in my own country, but I'm in Dubai here, so I understand I have to follow and respect those laws.